Yes. It's good. Very nice.
Live? Okay. All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good evening. My name is Fatma Ta'eb. I'm a cloud and AI solution architect here at Microsoft, and I'm also help run the Azure Qatar community along with my colleagues here that you'll be meeting. I see some new faces, so welcome to the Azure Qatar community. This is a emphasize on community event. So this is not an official Microsoft event, even though we're all Microsoft employees and we're in the Microsoft office and we're talking about Microsoft. But this is a very reliable. Okay, so this is a place where we discuss different Microsoft updates regarding the cloud and AI, business solutions, security, and more recently we had Ignite. Anyone heard of Ignite before? Anyone watch the live stream? Okay, cool. So Ignite is our flagship conference. It's the biggest conference that Microsoft runs every year. Usually happens in November, where they release like the latest and greatest updates regarding the Microsoft platform. This session is about recapping everything that happened during Ignite. So I hope you had your coffee because there's a lot of things to cover. We're going to be covering updates across so many different solution areas. We're going to talk about AI business solutions. So we have Hisham and Manuela here. They're going to tell us about like all of like the modern works solutions and M365. And then we're going to talk about the cloud element. We're going to look into infrastructure related matters. And then we're going to talk about AI Foundry, and of course about data, all about analytics and data, all the latest updates around that. And then at the end, of course, the most important thing, security. You cannot have any of this without security. And we're going to talk about the latest enterprise security updates with our colleagues here. So just a bit of housekeeping. It's going to be like around like 20-minute per solution area. Because we're like on a strict time, unless you guys want to stay here until 10 p.m., I'm going to be like the timekeeper for this. And we're not going to have time for questions, but not, folks are going to be around later while you have pizza. You can discuss with them, and we're planning to have like maybe more focused sessions for each one of these solution areas. Let us know. We're open to feedback so that we deliver something that you actually can benefit from. Okay, so again, we have. I hope you're all ready and energized. I'm going to pass it over to Hisham and Manuela to.
Thank you so much, Fatima. My name is Hisham. I'm a Copilot Cloud Solution Architect here at Microsoft. And in my section and Manuela's sections will be around 15-20 minutes. We're going to be talking about AI business solutions. So AI business solution is a unit within Microsoft that has to bring Copilot to every user and every process. Okay, so most of the things I'll be talking about is about Copilot itself. But I'm going to start with this new announcement in Ignite, which is the Work IQ, which is one of the probably best selling point of Copilot, that it's not just an AI tool, but it's an AI tool that understands you. It understands who you work with. It understands who your manager is, the colleagues that you work with. It understands your files, your SharePoint, your OneDrive, your emails, the chats that you have between you and your colleagues. The channels, the Teams channels that you are in, the projects that you work with. So all of this combined will be accessible to Copilot. So whenever you ask Copilot something, it actually knows everything about you. So it makes things easier for you. And also it will give you more accurate responses compared to any other AI tool where you have to explicitly say that I am working this project and I have a deadline and I need to do this one, two, or three. But with the Work IQ integration with Copilot, it makes these things so seamless. So, for instance, you can create a new meeting request with someone, and as soon as you type their names and you ask Copilot to generate an agenda, it actually knows who this person is. It knows what projects that you have been working with together, and will actually create the agenda based on your past experience, emails exchange or Teams exchange between you and that person. So in terms of the new features of Copilot, now Copilot can actually listen to you and interact with you using voice. Okay, so it's already in general availability within the mobile app of M365 Copilot app. And if you don't have it, please install it and enjoy it. And it will come soon in Q4 2025 to the desktop app. So instead of just typing, you can now talk to Copilot. We do have a lot of announcement in terms of agent mode. So as you know, that Copilot is not just a standalone app, but it also can be accessed using M365 apps. As you can see here, it's actually integrates well with PowerPoint, with Excel, with Word, and with all other M365 Copilot apps. But for those three important apps, which is the Excel, PowerPoint, and Word, you can actually have an agent mode. So with agent mode, it gives you more capabilities of creating, drafting documents in Word, for instance. It gives you more capabilities in terms of PowerPoint. You can reference a Word document and ask Copilot to create a PowerPoint presentation from that Word document. And then once it's created, you can ask Copilot agent to maybe add a slide, remove a slide, add text, reference a file, and ask it to reason over that file and add information to the presentation, create images, even create videos, and so on. So let's have a
PowerPoint
look.
Agent Microsoft 365 Copilot makes it easy to create presentations from chat. Just open the agent and describe what you need, like an executive deck, market overview, or project update. That's all you need, and PowerPoint Agent gets to work. It starts by asking clarifying questions tailored to your prompt. With your approval, the agent begins building, running quality checks along the way. PowerPoint reasons across work data, like files, emails, meetings, and the web as it plans your presentation. In moments, your idea becomes a clear, well-structured presentation, ready for review, editing, or further analysis. It's easy to continue refining in chat or open PowerPoint to keep working.
Just imagine this scenario that your colleagues and you have exchanged some emails, some ideas, some charts, some images from emails and from Teams chat. You can actually just come to a Copilot chat app and then just say, I would like to make a PowerPoint presentation based on my conversation with someone, or based on this file, or based on a project name that you have been working on. This is from a Copilot chat app itself, where you can create Word document, Excel, and PowerPoint, but you can also open those apps, which is let's say PowerPoint and Word, and then from there you can actually edit the result that you got. Let's have a look at agent mode within Excel. So as you can see in the previous one, we opened the Copilot app itself, but now we opened Excel. And then in Excel, you can enable the agent mode. So once it's enabled, you can also, whether you want to have web-grounded data or not, or just rely on your existing work data. So it's up to you if you want to switch it. You do also have the option to change between Claude and OpenAI models. And then with just a few prompts, you can actually create, as you can see, a very detailed and concise information based on your data, either saved on OneDrive or a completely new data even grounded on the web. So another one in Word. Do this open video, please. So likewise, in Word, you just need to enable the agent first, and then start by, let's say, add an executive summary based on an email. So this is an email between me and someone. Yeah, can you? Yeah. So write me an executive summary. So it's going to go there and write it straight away and give you the option to whether to keep it or amend it. And also, if you enable the agent mode again and add, let's say, executive, yeah, this is actually the same one, just being repetitive. So, but I think it's so clear that I have an email from someone and I can use that email to create an executive summary inside a Word document. So for PowerPoint, it's also very similar.
Helps you edit presentations with Microsoft 365 Copilot. Start by activating
Unify
mode from the Copilot chat pane. Then pick a starting point.
So here I think it's asking to for a specific slide
so we'll fast forward
is
it.
to add some glossary or agenda.
Copilot gets to work for you, like building a new slide using Work IQ and relevant web sources.
So it actually created the glossary. And here, for instance, it's all
US
US-based and the city. And in one program, just change it to UK and it changed it immediately. So it doesn't just create the PowerPoint presentation based on a file or on an email, but you can also, once it's been created, you can go individually to each slide, add, remove, amend as you wish.
All while you stay in control.
And also this is new, maybe go back to that image alignment. So go back to, yes, a little bit back.
All while mode can arrange images.
So as you can see here, so these images are actually not aligned, and the new agent mode can actually look at those images and align them perfectly. So it's a very good,
Saving a lot.
a lot of time. Okay, I think I'm gonna pass Manuela to finish the presentation after this one. Okay. So yeah, here there's a new feature, which is, so sometimes you have those meetings with your colleagues that are not fixed. So you can actually ask Copilot that if there is a conflict, you can reschedule this meeting between me and my colleagues, and you can actually specify what are the timelines or the time slot that they are available on. So whenever there's a conflict, so if someone asks you for a meeting and there's a conflict, they can actually suggest a better timing based on your calendar and your colleague calendar. It will find a suitable slot for both of you, and it can actually reschedule this meeting autonomously without even you have to do it manually. Cool. I think it's, yeah, it's manual. That's that.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Manuela. I'm a Copilot Cloud Solution Architect, colleagues with Hisham as well. Just before we continue, I just wanted to see like how many of you already started using Copilot, are into this. Oh, nice. Okay, good. We have some good audience then. So I hope whatever we have been presenting so far, it really does, reflect on your daily use cases. So the next up is the Microsoft Edge for Business. So in case you're using Edge, now you can also have the support of the Copilot chat within the website itself using the agent mode. So you can see that agent mode now has been expanding across all applications within M365, one of them which is the Microsoft Edge. Again, the agent mode within the same chat experience, which is part of the Microsoft browser, which is Edge for Business. And you can also iterate some instructions to the chat, and it will reflect that into your web experience within the chat. Next up is the Sora tool, which is now available in the create mechanism or the feature within Copilot, in which you can create posters, broadcasts, newsletters. You can also create videos, and now it's been expanded to use the Sora 2, which is a more advanced way of us creating images, posters, and creating content within our own environment. And not only does the Create provide us with this flexibility, but you can also include images within using the reference files like PowerPoint presentations and other templates that you might be using internally within your organization or within your own personal use.
It is easy to generate a video clip with Copilot. When entering your prompt, you can be as specific as you want or need, or you can leave the creativity to Copilot. Copilot will then generate a short video clip with synchronized dialogue and sound effects.
Zava Core Field. Go ahead, Smart Fibers.
You can start testing this today.
You need
Any
to make
use
an edit to
case,
your
you can do
prompt.
that. Next up is the SharePoint, which is, if you might have known, like SharePoint, we already have some agents that you can create within the SharePoint specific site. Now we have also accelerated that using a more context-aware chat mechanism. So it goes into your metadata and can also provide you with the necessary information going through the index files, but not only that, but it will also give you controls and instructions that you can use within SharePoint. This has already been generally available, but it will be across all tenants by end of November. Also, we have the create pages. Not sure how many of you use Copilot pages, but in summary, Copilot pages is where you can copy the content of the results that Copilot is providing you with, and then you can amend, edit to that specific response, copy it for later use, or you can even share it with your colleagues. You can share the link of that page. So now this has been also updated to provide you with a SharePoint page agent that you can create directly from the chat experience. So now from that page, from that list that you have, you can now add it to your SharePoint page as well. Just by mentioning the SharePoint agent, you can do that without having to go back and forth to your portal, copy the content, and then paste them into a SharePoint page. And this also happens with all the agents that you may want to call from the chat experience. So you always mention or like tag those agents, and you will find the list of the agents that you want, and you select those in the chat experience. Moving on, it's the admin agent. So if we have any admins with us today, the SharePoint admin agent acts as a governance control that you can use for quick access to any of the policies, any of the features that you want within the admin center of SharePoint. And it's an easy access that you can now use. And it's also very similar to the security copilot that's already found in Purview or other centers within Microsoft 365. The Opal as well is now part of the automation. So it's our workflow leveraging within Windows 365. You can activate that, you can use that, or users can also interact with the Opal as part of the experience. This is still new, and it's part of the Frontier program. Not sure if it's also available across all tenants yet, but if you are interested and you want to try it, please let us know so that we can support you on that. The MCP Connect, if you have been working with agents, if you have been creating agents at any point using Copilot, now you can have, you can securely connect to third-party agents like MCP connectors that have real-time access that you can use within your Copilot connectors. Okay. Workflows is part of the Frontier program. So now it's like a mix and match, you know, trying to create your workflows in an easier way using Copilot within the same Copilot view. So you don't have to go back to Power Automate or any of those automation flows in order to assess or assemble your workflow and triggers. So you can do that in one step with the navigation bar, which is on the left-hand side. You can instruct the Copilot of what type of workflow and automation you require, and it will provide you with the steps and the workflow itself. And all you need to do is just review it, probably edit it, authenticate the connectors if it uses Microsoft connectors or any third-party connectors, and you are good to go, and you can publish that and you can use it. The app builder, so it has been there as part of a specific program, but now it's going to be generally available to everyone. In the next phase. Currently, it's only within the US. But what you can do with the app builder, and we will show you now a demo, is you can also instruct the Copilot to create the agent for you. So what you need to do is just tell the Copilot, I need an agent that does this and that uses this knowledge source, that provides this automation. Just provide the instructions that you need in an app builder experience, which is very similar to what we already have been doing using the creating the agent or declarative agents. So now it's been updated within the app builder platform, and I just need to also show you a demo. All right, so this is for the M365 builder, and let's do this together. Okay, so what you can do here, what we can access is you can directly type within the Teams chat, and this is part of one of the use cases that you can do with M365 Builder. And once you have set this experience, what you can do is just go to Copilot and you can enhance this experience. But let me actually, I think it's, yes, yeah. So this is the app builder, and this is the experience, and this is where you can write the full prompt. For example, here we are asking Copilot to allow us to manage all 15 employees with specific content, and this is where the app builder will start creating this for you, and you can see it in action as well. You can see the flow. It also provides you with the design. As long as you are very specific and very intricate in what you need in that application, it will provide you with the flow and the UI design that you need. All right, and that's it for us in terms of the full agentic view. And we also have the Agent 365 that crosses all the use cases and all scenarios within the organization. And this is why we're calling it Agent 365, because you will find agents everywhere now across the applications. Right, so thank you so much for your time. I'm just going to hand it over to my colleague, Costin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Costin. I'm a cloud solution architect working in Qatar for some time already. And I'm dealing usually with infrastructure, as today I cannot compete with the topics already presented. I will try to make things interesting from you. So what do I have? On the infrastructure side, there are so many interesting things. Yes, we cannot compete with AI, with agents, with everything which is fancy and trendy today. I will take you in a very short trip only for few of the novelties. I'm going to talk with you about what do we have today in terms of having your Azure, making it more resilient, making your applications, your workloads as resilient as possible. There are some other goodies, and you are going to see that beyond what I'm going to present today, specifically for business critical, I will tackle cloud native and how you can benefit of this, and I will let the AI native part for my colleagues to delight you. So we are already aware about what Azure is doing, how this one behave. Now, the thing is that when we reach a certain maturity, we have already our application deployed to Azure, and we have there a lot of things related to infrastructure, or at least dependent in one way or the other. One of the questions is how we can make things better. Security is one of the pillars. We all know security, not only in cloud, but everywhere across the IT environment is pinnacle, is paramount. It has to be there. What about the resiliency? And before even I'm going to move forward, I'm just going to tell you this. Before having the cloud, everyone has the data center, and we were talking all about high availability, right? Clusters all over the place, duplicate this, having a lot of work to do to maintain this. Now we have cloud. And when we have cloud, we have this resiliency. What resiliency is, how I like to say it, is the capacity of your application to take hit after hit after hit and still survive and still deliver at full capacity. Now, on top of everything we have there, we have some which I like to believe is critical. It's highly critical. It's mission critical. Mission critical, in my view, is what are we going to, we cannot afford to lose. And I believe that everyone looking inside your own environment, you're going to find something that way. It can be something which is extremely important for the business, extremely important for you, for your team, and so on and so forth. So we do have several things that will help you making things more resilient. We do have things like compute, storage, networking, data, and applications. So when we are looking into this one, we have something which is brand new. How we can improve upon this one. For everyone here, I think you're already familiar with Azure, and you need that. In fact, it's a fully virtualized infrastructure, right? You have your own hypervisors. You have your own operating system deployed there. Talking about compute, right? Doesn't matter if you're running a server or if you're running something like an application service, everything is running on that infrastructure. So now we have this Azure Boost. Please, I want everyone who is familiar or at least heard about Azure Boost to raise hand. Okay, we have someone there. Thank you. Guys, Azure Boost is the way Microsoft approach one of very serious problem. When you have your hypervisor, think about your servers on-prem. On that one, you run your hypervisor stack, your virtualization stack. Now, Azure Boost came with having a different dedicated hardware that will take upon it the virtualization specifically for degrading that server of the menial tasks. For you, what that means that when you move away this kind of trivial tasks, your hypervisor will have more capacity, a better latency, and is going to operate better in everything related to compute, networking, and storage. You want to have a better latency, everyone. You want to have your application to run as fast as possible. Well, actually, with Azure Boost, you can have amazing IOPS, amazing networking, amazing everything, just because these tasks are now moved away from the hypervisor to dedicated hardware. Now, there is something else I want to talk, and that is the part where the networking innovations, specifically for capture. Azure Front Door. It is funny to mention Azure Front Door right now, but it's a very hot topic. It's very important. We do have this new capability which can allow you to ask for capture. You are not a robot, right? Sorry for everyone making the AI, but we want to prevent bad things happening. And this is also a feature about how this one is globally available. You have the possibility that without impacting the application, on one first request addressed to your front door, to challenge that request for a capture. So, guys, I don't want to bother you with things you know, and I am pretty sure that for everything that you see here, you are going to have questions. From this slide, what I want to be your take. I want to understand that this Azure Boost is indeed a big deal. And this one is already available. And this one, as you can see, it's already available for these new SKUs. These are new release, new hardware capacity, new VMs, which are available and are going to be deployed. Use it in the future. Now, for the cloud native.
Can I ask a question on the previous slide?
Please, of course.
I can learn as well. On the boosting, is it like a storage that we attach to a VM, or is it some other concept that is coming out of it?
It's a dedicated hardware. So there are dedicated hardware modules that will take this one into consideration. When you are talking about storage, there is a piece of storage attached, but look like a controller. For everyone here, sorry, I'm old here, so this is one of the reasons. SCSI controller on a server. You have a SCSI, and on that piece of hardware, you take the charge of manipulating all the data. A similar concept is here. For everyone familiar with encryption modules, I don't know, on a tape library, on a server, on anything. It is the moment when you take this hardware module, very performant, very reliable, and you are just going to take that tasks away from your hypervisor. You have more power available.
What if we compare it to fiber connection?
When you are looking to only the networking, it's going to be much, much faster. You see, this is up to 2 GB remote storage. Now, it's not only the bandwidth, it's not only the throughput, it's also the IOPS. And remember, it's one thing to have the Azure Boost dealing with more relief for your hardware, and finally, how you are going to manage this one. Everything that you see here is for mission critical. Now, what is mission critical for you? Give me one definition. Think something you cannot live without. Are you going to take this one and put it on an Azure Boost enable machines? Yes, you are. Is going to be more expensive? Maybe, maybe not. But what is most important here is that in that moment, the design you are going to apply, you don't want to have a limitation. You mentioned fiber channel. Yes, of course. Fiber channel itself, SCSI in the past, everything is analyzed in a chain of sequence. I already mentioned I'm an old guy and I had some experience in the past when a storage system was taken into consideration as being highly performant, but for a failover wasn't calibrated enough. It's the same here. So when you are looking to put something like this, you need to think how you are going to distribute your VMs, how you are going to distribute your workload itself. Yeah? It's mission critical. It's for mission critical. Now, I'm going just to dip a little bit in cloud native. I like to believe like this. Everything in Azure nowadays, it's extremely powerful and is mature enough. You have services, all kinds of services. But before talking services, you care about IT. What you want to do, what you need to do. You need to do IT operations management. You need to do IT security. And of course, you need to have compliance in all the fields. Doesn't matter. Management, security, and compliance. So when you are talking about cloud native, I'm going to present you some magic. I'm going to present you the adaptive cloud. Adaptive cloud is when you take Azure and you put it on everything you have, on everything. You put it on your data center and you put it in any other cloud. I'm not here to talk only about Azure. I'm talking about a smart cloud, an adaptive cloud approach. So as long as you have cloud native services and in Azure you have plenty of them, again, mature, powerful, you can take this one and you can put it everywhere. How? Cloud services and tool. Remember what I told you. You want to have management. You want to have security, right? So in Azure, you are going to have Copilot. Everyone here heard about Copilot? Of course you are. That's one of the reasons you are here. You have policy, compliance. You have Defender, security. You have Azure Monitor, operations. These are samples. I can give you plenty other services that are available. It's about application, developing through AKS, Visual Studio, GitHub. You have data, right? All these things are nowadays available. And again, I'm going to say it out loud, not only for Azure. You want to take these ones and put it in your data centers, then you have it. And this is available globally on many other regions. And again, I'm going to present in the next slides, Azure Local. One last question for the audience. Who is familiar with Azure Local? Don't raise your hand. Anyone else? Yes, excellent. So guys, Azure Local is the next magic thing. I know it's not AI. Well, it will enable the AI, but it's something that you will not be able to live without in the next years. Why? You already have your data centers. You already integrate your data center with clouds, Azure being one of them. Hopefully, your cloud of first choice. Now, Azure Local is going to bring Azure to you. It's going to bring Azure to your servers. It's going to bring whatever you need from Azure in terms of operations and management and security and compliance to your own data center. This is possible because in that moment, you are going to install in your own data center just this virtualization stack, but it's more than virtualization. It's your local stack, local cloud stack. Today, I'm pretty sure that everyone here is working with different tools. Doesn't matter if you're looking to update, monitor, secure. You have plenty of tools. Some of them are linked to a vendor. Some of you are already versed in some tools and systems. Forget about this. things about what you can do. So Azure Local is going to allow you on your existing infrastructure. Yes. Okay, that's fine. I promise I will be there. Is going to allow you to have everything like Defender for Cloud, Azure Monitor, Windows application, Linux, and so on and so forth. So what's the big deal? In the past, we used to have Azure Stack HCI. These are things which are matured now and are coming under one flavor, allowing you to update your data center. The moment you choose to deploy new hardware, you already have an option how you can consolidate everything, which is better, faster, cheaper, and more streamlined. Please.
Azure HCI stack first performance.
Yes.
So with this Azure Local, so can I consider that like you mentioned your data services? So let's say my organization have limitation to keep data on premises, right? So I can utilize this along with cloud capabilities, right?
Let me move to the next slide. And you are going to see your answer. Now, this is in a very simplified way what he mentioned. Technically, you have a data center here. It's this Azure Local. So how you are going to manage this one? You have your control plane in Azure, but you have your application and hardware on-prem, and you want to keep it there. You don't want to put it in the cloud, right? Or maybe you want, but it's not the right time. Maybe it's legacy. Maybe you want to have a DR. So in the first scenario on the left, where you see Azure Local connected, that means that for everything you have on-prem, you are going to have your own workloads, your own virtualization, your own application, your own databases, and you are going to manage, secure, and make compliant using Azure control plane. So far, I think is clear. But sometimes you have information, application, databases, which are even more critical. And for that one is whatever is Azure Local disconnected. This is highly critical for military, for services which cannot be sent to outside. You want to keep it for any reason, you want to keep it with you on-prem. So technically, this time, you don't need to be connected to the internet. Anyone here in oil and gas? Good. So from what I remember from my time in oil and gas, there is something called data diode. You cannot communicate with the industrial plant, Ras Laffan, for as example. You cannot communicate. It's not allowed. It's something similar in here as a principle. You are going to have your own data center, your own cloud. By the way, this can be done for one company or for a country like Qatar. We are talking Qatar. So you will be able to use Azure locally in a disconnected way. Disconnected like not connected to Azure. Come on, ask me. How come? How you can have it? There are some processes designed to ensure the most secure process today, as Microsoft is creating some blueprints, and these blueprints are going to be available, agreed, encrypted, and transferred by the choice of yours. But your environment is going to be disconnected. I know, I'm on the last slide. Microsoft 365 local. Do you want to have Microsoft 365 and still have everything on local? Do you want to have the AI, the agents, and everything? Right away, 1 minute. So you can have Microsoft 365 on Azure local. You can have your own workload implemented here. And to move fast, you can also have this Azure Migrate. You can migrate your own existing data center, physical or virtual servers, VMware or Hyper-V to Azure Local. Guys, I think that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patience. And I'm waiting for your questions.
Thanks, Costin. So now I'm going to talk about the, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Costin, I need to give you the whole 2 hours. I would gladly listen to a podcast presented by you, Costin. Yeah, we can, you guys, if you want, you can take it outside and discuss more. You're going to miss my part though, Kamal. It's okay, you can catch it on YouTube. So I'm going to cover everything related to AI, the fancy stuff. How many AI engineers do we have in the room? People that tinker with AI and all that? Okay, so I'm going to tell you all about the new things that came out in Ignite regarding AI. So the main announcement is we have Microsoft Foundry. Previously called it as Azure AI Foundry. Now I know we hate it when we rename things, but there's a reason for the rename. It's not just a simple rename. There's been a whole new UI change, a new user-friendly experience. Anyone has already logged into the new Microsoft Foundry portal? So if you go to ai.azure.com, there's a toggle switch at the top to switch to the new experience, and then you'll be able to see it. So Microsoft Foundry is what the platform of choice for a lot of enterprises to enable what we call frontier. Now you might hear this term a lot, and our marketing team loves it and so on, but what is frontier? It's all about leading with an AI first mindset. And in order to thrive in this environment, in this age, you need a platform like Microsoft Foundry to do that. And then I'll show you what are the latest announcements around that. Okay, so Microsoft Foundry is essentially comprises of these components. So we have models, the agent service, IQ, Foundry IQ. So you've heard a lot about work IQ, and then you're going to hear later from my colleague Dowie about fabric IQ. And then we have also Foundry IQ. One thing I would like to maybe one analogy I could give you to think of it is they work together to enable the organization to build agentic applications. Because for agents, what do you need, right? You need knowledge, and not just any type of knowledge. You need knowledge of the actual business, the business relations. It's not just about search, like doing a simple RAG where you find the similar text and then give it to your agent. No, you need to understand the more semantics, meaning you need to understand, like, okay, in this organization, for example, work IQ, like my colleagues mentioned, like based on my team's usage, it knows that, okay, I message Share a lot, I message Dowie a lot. These are the things I discuss. These are the people I have meetings with. So based on all this knowledge, how can I build an agent on top of it? So that's work IQ. Foundry IQ, I'll let my colleague Dowie explain it more. It's more about like the data integration layer and so on. And Foundry IQ is built on top of Azure AI Search. It enables agentic retrieval, and you can have multiple Azure AI Search indexes, and also integration with storage accounts, OneLake, and so many other data sources as well. And then also tools. I'm really excited about tools. So I'm not going to show a lot of demos today. Maybe we can have a whole session all about Foundry deep dive. But tools are really exciting. There's a section where you can see all of the different MCP servers that you can connect to, and it integrates with like some logic apps tools as well. And then machine learning, if you want to do something more customized, you want to fine tune any models and so on. And something new that we also introduced is the control plane. So the control plane is essentially, so you have all of these different agents, right? You want to be able to understand how are they being used, their performance, security, and the Foundry control plane allows you to do that. Having like so many disparate agents running, you have like a place to view that. You heard of Agent 365, which is something, I think it's mine, like number 2 best announcement from Ignite. Do read more about Agent 365. This is, if you're someone that's from the security or the admin team, you need to know about Agent 365 and how it makes it easier to manage all of the proliferation of agents within your Microsoft platform or outside. But the difference between that and control plane is meant mostly for the developers themselves. Okay. And also, of course, the ability to run it on the cloud, on the edge as well. So one of the announcements we made is a Foundry Local. So that means you need to look at like all the Ignite sessions that we have available. It's all up on YouTube. But there's a really cool demo of running Foundry Local on an Android phone. That means like without any internet access, you can run some Foundry models as well. So that's something really cool. So this is essentially what this is all the announcements. Now I'm just going to go a bit deeper into them. Okay, and let me check time. Okay, I have 13 minutes. So models. Let's talk about models, agent service. IQ is for the data knowledge, and tools is to enable the agents to actually achieve things, and machine learning for fine tuning. All right. So I'm going to skip through some of these. Okay, so again, this is very important. Some people, again, I'm not representing Microsoft here, I'm just representing myself. Some people say like, oh, why doesn't Microsoft build their own models? You have all these other entities, they're building their own models. When is Microsoft going to build their own? By the way, we have Phi and we have Quen. No, not Quen. Forgot the name for the other one. But we have a couple of small language models, but that's not what our focus is. The focus of like Microsoft Foundry and what we want to put our efforts in is to be the tool of choice for enterprises to do AI. So the full thing, from development to deploying. So you saw all of these different features. Let me just put up that slide again. So if you are a startup or maybe you're someone that's like tinkering around with AI, it seems very easy for you. Okay, khalas, you just like go on the platform, you use like Lovable or GitHub Copilot, and then boom, you have your AI. That's it. But no, when you work in an enterprise, and those who work in enterprise would know, it's not that simple. To take it live, you can build a POC in like 2 days, but to take it live takes, in some cases, a whole year. Why? Because you need to think about security, you need to think about identity management, you need to think about how the network is traveling. You need to think about all of these different components. And Foundry is the platform that enables all of this. There's no other platform like this currently. This is my claim. And we have a lot of organizations already using it, over 80,000 organizations that are using Microsoft Foundry Live. And you will see why is that. And we have a lot of different partners that could enable you to get started with it. Okay, so let me move on to restock. Okay, so why Microsoft Foundry and the main announcements around these 3 pillars? Because it's simple, it's trusted, and it's powerful. So let's dive deeper into that. Simple, you will get to see, and trust me, if I'm being honest a little bit, the previous Foundry UI, my personal opinion, it was a bit confusing. You go in, you're like, where do I start, and so on. But now, when you go open up the Microsoft Foundry portal, it's very intuitive, very simple. You see like the different model sections. There's also you will see there's like a drag and drop experience similar to like LandGraph to build your own agents. So it's very, very simple to just simply choose a data source, prompt your agent, and then you'll get a endpoint or a URL to have like a interface for it. And with a click of a button, you can integrate it with M365 Copilot and Copilot Studio. So you will see it's very simple to do so. And we have Foundry IQ, like I mentioned, that you can integrate with all of these different data sources. So just one thing also on the side I want to mention is, maybe you hear a lot about like AI at Microsoft, and then you hear Copilot, you hear Foundry, you hear like other things. One analogy also I'd like to give you to help you understand it better. At Microsoft, there's like 3 ways you could do AI. Okay, just like those who did AZ900, raise your hand. Azure fundamentals, right? You know about infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So when it comes to AI at Microsoft, infrastructure as a service, you can run, like we have GPUs, you can run your own model, you can train it on our Azure platform. That's one option that you have, but then you got to manage the whole thing yourself. And then we have software as a service, which is like Copilot Studio. It's more like clicky and draggy. You don't need to know how to code. It's just about getting it out there. You don't have a lot of controls to customize things, but it's still great for certain people. And then Foundry, it's like platform as a service. It's meant for developers. It's meant for people to actually go, you open up, one of the announcements is that we have integration with VS Code now. So it's meant for developers to have like more control over the knobs and things. So this is one way to think about it. Okay. So we also have now a memory in Foundry Agent Service. So for agents to work, you have like short-term memory and long-term memory. So short-term just means like in the session itself, when you talk to it, it remembers what you said before, and then long-term from previous conversations you had with the agent. How is it able to build and tap into that? So we have that capability now in Foundry Agent Service. And then this is the tool experience I was telling you. So you have access to all of these different tools. You have the Cosmos DB MCP server. There's also like the Microsoft Learn Docs MCP server and a bunch of other ones as well. I'm going a bit fast because like this is just announcements, but we can discuss more later. So this is just to show you how simple it is and how you can connect to different, how you can easily build an agent in Foundry. So let's talk about trusted. So when it comes to trust, it's not like the job of one person, it's job of several people, your IT folks, the actual developer, and your InfoSec team that we know and love. So let's talk about like how developers can use Foundry to build more secure applications. So you have controls, observability. Controls allows you to manage, for example, things like prompt injection, or maybe sometimes users put personal identifiable information in their in the input. Or they ask certain harmful questions. So you want a layer of like content safety. So you have that ability to do it in Foundry. Observability, managing how this agent is used and its performance and so on. Security when it taps into internal or external data sources. And also it's not about managing one agent, it's managing a whole wide array of agents. So for control, we have the Foundry control plane, like I mentioned earlier, that, like I mentioned, like as an agent, you interact with the external world, like maybe Bing Chat or other MCP tools, but also like internal source, like on-premise data sources or data sources behind the private network. So how do you manage the security for all of these components? This is where the Foundry control plane, integration with Defender, posture management, all these other components come in place. So this is a section, a screenshot that shows you how the control plane looks like. So you have here a set of guardrails to block certain inputs and so on. Observability, so you have like this dashboard that shows you how like the token usage, the run of the agents, what tools are being used, evaluation, all in one interface. I'll let, we have a whole section about security, so I'm going to skip a little bit the security sections, but also just, it integrates with Defender. If you don't know what's Defender, you need to pay very close attention to Shaib's talk. One thing also, Foundry doesn't only integrate with Defender, but also if you use other tools like Palo Alto or Zenity, that's also coming to integrate with those. Okay, so let me just skip through that. So we talked about how it's simple to use Microsoft Foundry. We talked about how you can build trusted agents on top of Foundry. Let's talk about why Foundry is powerful. In Foundry, you can run models, you can host your agents, and you have the whole developer stack. So wait, before I go to this page, how many models do you think are available in Foundry? Any guesses? Give me a number, anyone, just jump. 200? Oof, higher. Sorry? 220? Wow, you went really high. Okay, so we actually have 1,100. Let me go here. So 1,100,000 models across all, whether it's Hugging Face models, whether it's Core 42, we have Grok, we have DeepSeek, we have so many other models that you can run on Foundry. So it's really cool, and you can check them out. And we also, we are the main and only platform that has a partnership with OpenAI. So I don't know if you guys know this, but like ChatGPT runs on Azure platform, and it actually uses even like for their data, for example, they use Cosmos DB and all that stuff. And we have a very close partnership with them that we get the same day that OpenAI releases things, it gets released on the Azure platform. We have all of our Azure security promises and enterprise promises. It gives you choice, and it has all the guardrails implemented in it as well. And you can easily connect it to your Microsoft data estate. So this is a really cool announcement that we made, is that you can now run Claude models on in Foundry. Honestly, my personal favorite model is Claude, so I was really excited about this. I love OpenAI models, but Claude has a special place in my heart. I feel like it gets me, I call her Claudia because like she really understands. So you can now run it in Foundry, so that's really exciting. We also have the model router that went GA, general availability. So for those of you who maybe you're new to cloud terms, but whenever a new feature gets released, first it's in preview. First it's in private preview. That means only a set of people can access it. Then it's in public preview. That means it's still in beta mode. You should not use it in production, right? Some people use it in production and they're like, oh, why is it not working? Well, you shouldn't be using a beta thing in production. And then you have general availability. That means khalas, like it's production ready. If something goes wrong, support should be able to help you and all that stuff. So model router now is in GA. What is model router? I have 2 minutes. What is model router? So sometimes you have models that are good for different things in terms of like reasoning, in terms of also cost, in terms of latency. So model router, it automatically does like real-time routing for depending on the question, it routes it to the right model. So maybe you can have GPT 5.1, you can have Llama, you can have DeepSeek, and then it will automatically route it to the right question. So instead of always using GPT 5.1, which is, consumes a lot of, the cost is higher, you can run a more cheaper model or more smaller language model. This is something really exciting to explore if you care about cost management. We also have fine-tuning. So the UI for fine-tuning got a major update. You also have the ability to generate synthetic data. One of the challenges with fine-tuning was, you have to create your JSON-L file, and you don't know where to get all the data from. Now in Foundry, you can generate that for you, and you can run. You can train your own GPT-5 models as well. We also have Foundry Local. Like I mentioned, you can run it without internet access. So whether on a Apple phone, or actually I'm not sure if we support iOS yet, but Android, you can run Foundry models within that. Okay, so I think I'm going to skip through all of these things, but we also have Foundry Agent Service, which I've shown you earlier, that allows you to also create workflows and has built-in memory with them. And the Microsoft Agent Framework, this went, it was announced a while ago, but how many of you heard of semantic kernel? Okay, how many of you heard of Autogen? So semantic kernel and Autogen are both libraries, open source libraries that are created by Microsoft. And what Microsoft Agent Framework is essentially combining the best of both. And it's also an open source framework that allows developers to Python and .NET, I believe for now, to build their own agents. And then we also have this really cool UI as well to make it easier. Okay, so just ending with developer tool stack. It's like building agents is not the same as building traditional applications. You need to think about loops. You need to think about how autonomous it is, and or you need to think about orchestrations and all these aspects. So that's why we have the AI toolkit. So do look it up. Start playing around with it on VS Code. It allows you to do all of these cool things. You have a really nice interface to create your workflow. It makes it very easy to evaluate different agents and deploy them easily into an application. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here. But this is essentially Microsoft Foundry. Go to ai.azure.com and start playing with it. And if you have questions, we can discuss them later. Now I'll pass it on to, where's Dowie? Dowie. Round of applause for Dowie.
My name is Muhammad Dawi. I'm also cloud solution architect, specialized in data and infra, based here in Qatar with the team, with Fatima and the rest of the team. One of the announcements that we declared in the last Ignite is something I considered very important, and it's a new concept called Fabric IQ. And to understand why we build Fabric IQ, we have to understand the problem that we are facing right now when the agentic and this AI era started. That most of us, we have the data that we need our agents to start connect to and build and answer a very sophisticated question. You unmeaningful. What if we can connect all of them, disconnected systems together, and find, like, let's say, a semantic foundation on top of this data that we have already invested in bringing it to the fabric. And then once we have those disconnected systems together, we can give a meaningful business, meaningful for this data, which means that we can use the business vocabs to ask questions. We don't need to be very understandable how the data would be collected as a business decision makers or business or data users. We can simply ask questions that, or have like a dashboard, interactive dashboard that we can simply see. For example, in aviation industry, you can have fly airplanes, you can have runways, you can have crew, cabinet crews, you can have logistics. And each one of them look to the business from his own perspective, like from his own system, like the maintenance, they look to the planes, aeroplanes in a different way, like the finance look to it. They look like a revenue generator, but from the maintenance, they look at like work that they need to done to make the plane ready, or aeroplane ready for production. So what we build in IQ is to bring a kind of smart or a brain to your fabric, so you can trust it, and business decision can see a holistic view of over all of the data that's collected inside the fabric in a very simple way. So this is the challenge right now, that we cannot, if we have a poor data and we don't have a meaningful for the data, we cannot build AI agent that is trustful for the business. So assume that you have, like in aviation industry, we have a lot of running entities inside the industry, right? We can have, as I mentioned, a lot of entities inside, including the airplane and airports, like runways, a lot of things. And because each one look at from different perspective and from his own disparate systems, the way that we design this fabric IQ is to awake a lot of artifacts that you can work together to bring it in a meaningful way. So we'll see in a demo in a while how this things is very simple, that you can build on top of what you're invested in Power BI, for example. So if you invested time in building a very complicated semantic model, you can simply convert it into what we call ontology in Fabric. So what this actually in the demo, what exactly Fabric IQ will provide to you? Imagine now that you can build AI agent that exactly can understand everything in your business from side to side. It can see the relation between different business entities. You can enrich the data that you already have in your semantic model with a real-time data coming from event house like IoT sensors or whatever the data source, like weather data or whatever time series data that you can bring to your fabric. So simply you can convert your semantic model and enrich the semantic model with the data. And also you can have ontology developer who can work and add some relationship between those entities together, because you are the only one who understands the holistic view of the business. So the business with the ontology developer will spend some time to have some meaningful business vocabs added on top of the entities, and to connect those entities together, like to see if I have a runway issue, like a problem in the runway, what does it mean from the aviation perspective? It means that the lane is right, no flights will be landed, other flights scheduled to be departed from this runway will be rescheduled. Maintenance, like land crew, will come to fix the runway. A lot of actions will be taken based on one small issue that's happening. If I see this relationship between all of these entities in one holistic view, I can take a decision based on it. I can build agent that can, first, it can give me a reliable answer. What is the cause of the delayness? What is the cause of a problem that I have in my schedule right now? And it can go dig inside and see the relationship between all of these entities together, and then provide a reliable and trustable answer. Not only that, but because I trust and I can build the agent on top of this source of truth, I can ground it. All agents I will build on only one ontology, which means later on when you build your agents, you will not again reinvest time in bringing the data, connecting, understanding how it works together. And instead of that, you can just simply build the agent on top of this ontology. This agent can do a specific function, and this agent also you can trust to take an action, because you trust that it's coming, it takes a decision based on a source of truth that understands the business, so it can take an action. For example, it can communicate with the proper team, and it can trigger actions like send the crew, the land crew, to go to the runway and fix the problem in time. So now the new portfolio of Microsoft Fabric is the IQ. So let's see in the demo how easy you can build your ontology, which is one of the core components in Fabric IQ.
I'm the lead Fabric developer, working with our operations and analytics teams to unify how we understand the business. What I'm about to show you is how we created a digital model of our operations using Microsoft Fabric IQ. We already organized all the relevant business data into our semantic model that captures many aspects of the business, flights, airlines, bookings, and routes, all from tables in one lake. We use this for all our day-to-day reporting in Power BI, but it doesn't cover our cross-organizational needs like real-time streams, geospatial data, geospatial data, actions, and unstructured data. To really operationalize this, we have to expand beyond reporting. I can use this to.
Sorry. So you see, I believe I wanted to both. So you see how you already invested time in building your semantic model, right, in Power BI. And you want to start this, take it as a core for your ontology. Of course, this is not enough data, but this is what you need starting point to build your Fabric IQ or ontology graph view. So in this example, we have very sophisticated semantic model. This is only one of the many semantic model you may have Power BI, and also data in the lakehouse that you already have in Fabric. So we'll see how this will be used to convert.
We have to expand beyond reporting. I can use this to generate an ontology. It uses the tables and columns from our semantic model and creates the core business entities, flights, airlines, bookings, routes, and the like. And it's linking them not just through data keys, but through the business relationships. These entities are more than just data. The ontology can hold rich information about the actions, relationships, and more for each entity. Let's take a look at the flights entity. I automatically get entity-centric reports showing summary statistics based on the data from Power BI that's been automatically associated with these entities. I can see the relationships between the flights and its assigned routes and airlines. Let's go ahead and edit this entity. In this case, I'm adding details about our runway condition. I choose the relevant event house data and get a real-time preview of the friction, contamination, and visual range can surface. In a similar way, I can add turnaround events where the data maintenance events into my ontology, bringing together all the relevant data about the flights from many different sources. But as I said, it's not just the data. The ontology stores the relationships, but also I can add things like rules and actions that can be performed against the flights. In this case, I'm going to add a rule monitoring wind speed to alert customers and crew for delays, as well as reassigning routes. Now let's fast forward Now let's after I've built this out a bit further. After I've built this out a bit further, you can see I've added a few other entities like crew and aircraft, along with data from maintenance events and IoT telemetry to monitor real-time events. I can even connect to other Power BI reports and dashboards to provide a canonical view of how to monitor and manage all these aircraft. Now I've finished editing the definition of this ontology. So when I come back to this entity overview, it's far richer than before. I see the BI data, but also the real-time sensor data, reports, and more. And I can also drill down to focus into a view for one specific flight. This brings together all of the curated information about my core business entities. Again, I see the specific properties of this flight, the real-time data, as well as reports. Switching to the runway entity overview, I can see the level of contamination, friction, and visual range across all my runway. Now, leveraging Fabric Ontology, we are able to achieve a unified and comprehensive view of our operations, spanning flights, crew assignments, and customer management. We're harnessing.
So as we saw here, we started with a very one of the semantic model, and then I started to enrich the semantic model with data from Event House, like real-time data, and also data from other data sources like other Power BI reports. And then based on that, I can have in a very rich access, a graph overview about all of the running parts in my business. I can go deeper and see what it is. So what this actually will provide, it will provide two things. First, for the business decision maker, they have, or different business teams, they can have others to see the impact of their business on others. They see the contraction and the relationship between their business and the others and how it's impacted their services. And also decision makers can take a real-time decision based on this real-time data or real-time source of truth. The second is you can build agents on top of it. You can use data agents from Fabric. You can also use the new operational agent that it can take decision based on the rules that you can define. So you can tell the agents, if this happened in my business, you can take 1, 2, 3 action, call the proper team or take action, corrective action to fix this problem in time. And also you can integrate this with Foundry, where you can easily integrate your ontology. Once you build it, you can recycle it and use it in different agents that you build in Foundry or even in your Fabric ecosystem. Yes.
Maybe questions later.
So I will give it now to Oday.
We can take this further by creating.
Thank you.
Hello. Hey everyone. My name is Uday Pathania. I'm Cloud Solution Architect, Data and AI. I am going to talk about the SQL Server 2025. So now we have announced in this Ignite, this version is generally available. It means you can use in your production environment. So basically, I'm going to focus on the different add-on feature or additional feature added to the this version. And under these 3 different categories: AI build, build for developer, and mission critical. Specific demos to specific feature and specific detail about specific feature are mentioned in these 2 different links. So you can use these links to see the demos and detail about individual feature. So let's talk about the different feature. AI built-in, most of the Microsoft products are AI driven now. That's what we have brought to the SQL Server 2025 as well. And this particular version is very familiar to the developers because we also know that SQL Server 2025 provide, not SQL Server 2025, every version of SQL provide the programming environment. You can write your own business logic in T-SQL language. You can integrate with different kind of analytical platform. It is secure by default because in today's environment, most of the analytical platform or database environments are communicating with the AI environment. So this question generally everybody asks. So if my environment is communicating to the AI, how I can secure the environment? How I can make sure that my AI will not interfere or it will not do something malicious. So by default, it is secure. By default, AI cannot do anything. You have to explicitly assign different permission, different kind of things. It's of course mission critical engine. Have high availability, and a lot of other different features. This connected with Arc. Now you can use SQL manage in AI SQL MI instance, and you can set up bidirectional DR. Of course, it is integrated, assisted by Copilot. How many of you have heard about SSMS? Right, it's a very popular tool. Everybody is working in SSMS to manage and maintain, even to develop. So now Copilot is integrated into the SSMS. Now it's very easy to write the code. Even you can write normal English queries, and you can generate the code itself. SQL Server has proven its track record in terms of benchmark. So it's our bread and butter, basically, I would say. And there are a lot of different integrations. So you can run SQL Server in your Azure environment, on-prem environment, and some other environments as well. Right. So this slide is about SSMS. So you can see there are a lot of different integration. And I'm very excited about this particular slide because day to day in my work, I use SSMS a lot. And I have seen all these different challenges while I was working with this SSMS environment. Now you can use GitHub Copilot. You can write your code. You can use GitHub Copilot to get some assistance. You can maintain Fabric integration, Fabric environment, and migration assistant. People who are migrating their environment from on-prem to the cloud, or they are upgrading. So you all might heard about migration assistant. You can use this tool to assess the existing environment, how much efforts are required to upgrade and migrate. So all these things are integrated within the SSMS and the JSON viewer. So how many of you have working with the unstructured data? They might have seen this challenge if you are writing code against the JSON document. So how complex it is. Now you can see the JSON structure within the SSMS, and it's very easy. There are a lot of different feature and functionality added. A lot of functions are added in SQL environment to shard your JSON document. All right, so she's saying 1 more minute. So it's very hard to complete everything. Okay, so I'll run through quickly. Smart search is something recently added in the SQL 22.5. Now you can write, whenever you are writing the AI-driven environment, you are working in the AI-driven environment, you are writing prompt, right? And prompt will retrieve the data from various different unstructured or structured data sources. We have integrated this approach within the SSMS itself, within the SQL 2025 itself. Plus, you can also add traditional filter. So you have write the where clause in your traditional queries, and you can filter the data. We have integrated these two different kind of environment, and now we are calling it hybrid search. So you can write normal English query as well as you can use your where condition to filter out the data from the SQL environment. Of course, the vector search is embedded. Now you don't need to have a separate vector database. You can use SQL Server itself. You can use, of course, Copilot to write complex queries. As I mentioned, vector data stores are embedded within the SQL itself. You don't need the extra solution or extra software. So I'm just giving you some very simple examples. So consider this black box is your compute environment. It can be the VM or it can be actual hardware. And this inner box is representing the SQL engine itself. Now, what you can do, you can call define model definition within the SQL itself. And there are 4 different ways you can integrate AI within the SQL itself. Whether your AI models are hosted outside of this VM environment, outside of this SQL engine, but within the same VM or any other platform, or whether your AI models are hosted outside of this VM in the network, or it is hosted in some in REST API HTTP format, or even you have Onyx model. You can directly call, you can define these model within the SQL itself, and you can generate embeddings. You can call these models endpoints within the SQL itself, and you can generate the embeddings. You can save these embeddings within the SQL itself in the vector form. And the vector index can be created on top of that. When the user is sending or writing some prompt against the database, we can retrieve these embedding itself from the database itself within the SQL itself. We are calling it hybrid search, as I mentioned earlier. So your prompt as well as the normal SQL statement which you are using to retrieve the data can be combined together, and it can give you very effective results. Well, this is the demo. I'm skipping this demo. All right. Yeah, so developer. I know people who are working with SQL for many years. They might heard about this things. So this environment is, I would say, SQL is very developer friendly. So the data AI builder is a separate product. It is not part of SQL. It has provided so many different functionality. One of the functionality is writing regex expression. How many of you have trying to identify the data pattern within the SQL, right? It's very difficult to write the regex expression to test. Even now, the regex expression can be written using T-SQL, and you can retrieve the data. So think about when you are running the data quality checks against the data set. So you are trying to run the regex expression and try to find out how many columns, how many data elements or data assets are actually matching to this pattern, so that I can say my data is 100% matching. For example, if you're saving the email IDs, you can write a regex expression to understand the format of the email ID is correct or not. So that is very difficult to write outside of SQL, T-SQL, but since it is available in SQL now, you can write it very well. You can use event-driven programming. We have brought this functionality within the SQL itself. Now you can think about writing, taking action against the event and forward these actions to your event hub or any data ingestion platform, and of course the REST API calls, which you can make using Data API and Data API Builder and connect with your SQL engine. So in current version of SQL, Python driver is also added within the environment, and you can write Python code within the SQL itself if you are familiar with Python. But well, this functionality was there already in earlier version of SQL. If you remember, machine learning support or machine learning engine was available in the SQL Server as well. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you a lot, Uday, for that. I think now we have Vikram. By the way, Uday, how many SQL Server, what was the first one? SQL Server, what, 1990 or something?
2000.
No, come a long way.
Okay, thanks for that. So hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Vikram, and at last the security came. So we are the bad guys over here. So along with me, Shoaib is the other one. So we kept the best thing for the last one. How many of you are from data security? Cool. Okay. What we generally learn that security is whose responsibility? Everyone's responsibility. So we all are responsible over here, right? So yeah, so coming to few of the slides. See, only one of them is from the data security. So if I could only go through what exactly has been changed from Microsoft Ignite, what happened this month, or sorry, last month. So only one guy could able to get it, the whole of those specific stuff. So let's make it more interactive. Let's make it in a way that when you would go into your environment, when you would be talking to anyone within your environment, you should be giving your value add that what exactly has been changed over there in this announcement. So the very first thing, 90% of the world's data has been created in the past 2 years. 90%. And this is not what I am saying. The source is also over here. if you would have seen or if you would have heard all the audience, what generally they told, they are talking. Let's say when Costin was talking about, he was talking about Azure. When other folks were talking about, they were talking about the data, right? So when we say about the AI, or AI is a buzzword. Even if you ask a 4 years old kid, they will talk about Gemini, or they will talk about Copilot or any other stuff, right? Even though people don't know about AI or not, they think that they knew about AI. So why do you think that 90% of the data has been generated in the last 2 years? What exactly changed? It's the AI. It's the OpenAI. So what exactly they have done? They democratized AI. And when we say AI, AI is a wrong word to say. AI doesn't came 2 years back. It was first coined in 1957, and we are in 2025. So AI is a broad category, and the area where we are talking about everything, it's the Gen AI over there, one of the various subsection of AI. So what they have done, they have democratized the generative AI. Means now as a layman, I could just type in the language which I knew, either it would be Arabic, either it could be English, Hindi, whatever the language, and you could able to get your answer in your own way, right? So every normal human being could able to interact, and that resulted in this one. So what is the number one problem that it generated? No, the data it generated, but what problem that it generated over there? The security of the data. When we say the security of the data, so let me ask you one more question. Fatima talked about multiple models. How many models? If you have heard about there, Microsoft Foundry. And they are right. Okay, they are right. Okay, so you are attentive. So good. So now, what makes a model a good model? I knew that I'm going away from that because until unless you don't understand this particular one, the one Ignite stuff would just be a boring for you guys. What are the things? If you are, let's say, for example, if you need to know about what exactly a model, how can you say a model is a good model?
As good as data trained on.
Sorry?
As good as data trained on.
The data trained on them. Okay. So one part that I will take over there is data. What's the other thing? See, it's a predicting model. If you ask about that, Gen AI is nothing. Okay, any of those things, okay, which you wanted to do, that's a predicting model. Predicting based upon the data. I will take it on the data side. What else?
Of course, the architecture.
What exactly that comes over there? What Costin mentioned over there, right? It means the compute. You're getting the compute from what? Not from your local machine. You're getting the compute from the cloud. And the third and the most important one, what exactly make it? It's the algorithm. You remember when DeepSeek has announced that, okay, that they have created a model which is not as expensive as compared to what the other models were created in the States? They uses this different kind of hardware. It means the algorithm plays a very, very important role. So one key piece of important stuff that you need to understand that whenever we are talking about the model, what makes a model an efficient model? Data. The second one is compute. And the third one is the algorithm. And then when it turned out to be the data, everyone is talking about the different data, right? So it means that the data has to be secured in a very, very important way. Let me just give you a classic example that when you are going over there and you have got a critical document, which is an Excel sheet, or let's say a document which is a Coca-Cola formula. And if it's a 20-page formula, and if your manager says, okay, please go ahead and summarize this in next 1 hour, what will you do? You will upload, right? And let's say Copilot is not there in your environment, then what will you do? ChatGPT, correct. You will go over there and will say, okay, ChatGPT, please give me a one-line or one-page summary for my manager. What exactly you did? Okay, you got the output, what exactly you need, but behind the scene, what exactly you have done? So what is the wrong in that?
It would be public.
So every model except M365 Copilot is a Pac-Man model. Whatever it sees, it goes ahead and eat that one. And it used to train the model. You unknowingly exfiltrated the data which is a super critical data, to someone else, and then the someone else, like the different kinds of bad actors would be over there. They will go ahead and take that particular data. That's called something called the prompt injection and other stuff, right? So there comes the data security into picture. So welcome to data security. Now, what exactly the stuff that we have went ahead and announced in Ignite, which is something called data security posture management. So in your environment, if you would be heard about DSPM, or we generally call it, because we are very good in acronym, right? So when DSPM is coming into picture, so we call data security posture management, the way how exactly your data should be retained in your environment. So generally, when we are talking about the data security, within Microsoft, there is a specific solution which is called Microsoft Purview. So Microsoft Purview is a specific product by which you could able to secure your data. And that is an umbrella solution. What generally it contains? It contains the solution which could be either labeling your data, which could be either the data loss prevention. Have you heard about the DLP solution? Right? So data loss prevention is the acronym is DLP. In the same way, it contains the solutions like the insider risk management. When everything combined together along with the AI part over there, then that particular solution is called DSP. Earlier, we had got two different solutions over there. One was called DSPM for the normal sets of data, and the second one was the DSPM for AI, which is generally used for the purpose of adaptability of artificial intelligence, or let's say, for example, M365 Copilot in any of the environment. So we combined both of them, and now this particular feature is in preview, which is going to be hydrated in all the tenants in this month. So your organization or the one who is responsible, they could able to see a new solution coming up over there, that is DSPM. And what exactly this particular one can do? If you could see this, I'm inside the portal, and on the left hand side, DSPM, which is in preview, right? And it's so easy that you could able to see the overall structure of your environment, how exactly it looked like, either from an M365 world, means the Microsoft 365, or even from a non-Microsoft 365. I'm going to come into those particular one. So this page will give you the holistic view. Then it's always the headache for the admins that from where we are going to start. So it will fortify you that which all are the areas. If you could see in this particular part, something is there in green and something are there in exclamation mark. Means these are the area which are for the most important critical area for the admins to go ahead and look into those areas. Like if you see prevent data exfiltration to risky destination. Risky destination, it could be something like say, for example, file sent to the personal email or file copied to the USB. The exfiltration can happen, but can happen either knowingly or unknowingly. The tools should be in a way that it should stop all those kinds of unnecessary exfiltration from the end users. So this particular one is going to help you out. And everything is one-click policy. If you go view the remediation plan, you could able to see how exactly you could able to remediate that specific one. One single click and you are going to go ahead and do the remediation. So this is the first part that we are coming up with. Then, as I told, people like you love Microsoft for collaboration, for working, but Microsoft is not only the end of the world. We have got certain third-party stuff also over there, and we heard. And that's the reason we know not only having the Microsoft ecosystem, but we also have got the non-Microsoft ecosystem also over here. Like if you see, we have got Snowflake, we have got Databricks, Salesforce, Google Cloud Platform, Google Workspace. So everything in any of the cross-platform, if you guys are working and if you need to see the data security posture on those specific one, it's also now got integrated along with our partner ecosystem. So how it become possible? By integration with Azure Sentinel, Data Lake, and when you have got, or any of you would be having the data in these specific non-Microsoft location, and if you wanted to see how the data security posture looking like for those specific component, we now have got the solution for that. So not only a Microsoft world, it's also the third-party world also over there. Then the next part is about the AI observability. Now, almost everyone who presented were talking about the agents. Once again, one more question. What exactly an agent? I heard so many guys talked about agent. In simple layman term, could anyone please explain me what is an agent? Because now, earlier it used to be, a few years back, it used to be the AI buzz. Now everyone is only talking about agent. Means it's an agentic world. You wanted to do this, you have got the agent for that. You wanted to do this particular task, you have got the agent for that. So what exactly an agent? If anyone could take this particular opportunity.
No.
Sorry? Yes. So earlier also with the help of AI, you could able to do that. Why we need the agent?
Specific task. Specific task.
Super, good. Okay, in the interest of time, let me not take that particular one. So let me just give you for everyone. When you do, see, someone told about that why exactly we need AI or generative AI. Okay, so it's generally a probabilistic machine, or it's a probabilistic feature over there. What happens? Whenever it do a task, it can do only one single task at a time. But there could be a task which is a chain of tasks over there that you need to do. When you need to do a chain of tasks, like let's say, for example, that you wanted to go on vacation, you need to book the tickets also, you need to book the flights, you need to book the flights, you need to book the hotel, you need to go for all the transportation over there. So in that case, an agent should be the one which could do from end to end all the specific tasks on behalf of you. That's exactly agent. And that too with the speed of what the machine never get tired. So when AI is using task after task, and when it get combined together, that's exactly an agent. So the agent, you can create it either from M365 Copilot, you can create it from the Copilot Studio, or earlier we call it Azure AI Foundry, and now we call it Microsoft Foundry. See, you were very attentive in her class, right? So good, thank you. So in Microsoft Foundry, wherever you create the agent or even the third-party agents, you could able to see the whole agents over here. And not only you could able to see the agent, you could also see the risky activity trend. Because one thing that you have to remember, the amount of permission that you have is similar to what exactly the agent could able to do. So if there is some excessive permission that has been given, you could very well able to go ahead and do on this particular path that how exactly the risky trend look like, and you could able to work upon those specific one. So everything on one single page. So this is what exactly it showed you, right? And these are the different agents. How is the risk level of the agent look like? So the admins could very well able to see. Then one of the biggest tasks from all the customers are the reporting is very poor. This is the version 1 report that we came up over here. So what generally happens that the reporting now becomes very, very important. We have started with the 9 new sets of report, and very soon multiple reports are also going to come up over there. Then our own agent, right? The data security triage agent. Why data security triage agent? These are some of the features that we get hundreds and hundreds of alerts over there. And if someone manually has to do, it will take a good amount of time. So the agent could able to do on behalf of the admins. So this is what exactly, like this is from the data loss prevention or the DLP functionality. Out of all the alerts, how many alerts you just need to take the attention? On behalf of you, who is going to do that? The agent is going to do that specific one. Then the second one is the data security posture agent. This data security posture agent, if you need to type anything in your natural language, in that case, what can you do? You can simply go ahead and write that I wanted to find all the files related to a specific project. It will go ahead and fetch all the details from you. You don't need to go ahead and look into the various places, just a specific English language, and it could do the work. So 2 new agents are going to be produced over here. And that's exactly the whole stuff which I have mentioned for DSPM. Clear? Then the third party integration, which I told you about. The second one is the prompt DLP. So the prompt DLP, what exactly it means that now it can integrate it with the sensitive info type. Like if you could see a 16-digit number, it's a credit card. We could very well able to see. So when we go ahead into M365 Copilot and try to say, please summarize this particular, or even when you do a prompting, based upon the prompting, it could go ahead and it could show you that it will restrict that it cannot do any, or it will not generate any response for you. See, like in this case, if the user has given the prompt, was the credit card this? Because this 16-digit number, the MX and everything. So what exactly the output? Because your organization has blocked the Copilot, this particular one. So not only based upon the document, but even based upon what exactly you are giving the prompt, it could able to do on those parts. And these are the other major Ignite announcement. So I don't want it to go into the details of that, because even though I will explain, it will not be of much of the use over there. But if you could see, the majority is what? The DSPM, which I talked about. The second one, which is about the DLP prevention, which we talked. Then the data lifecycle management, that we could able to delete the data as per the own will in the Copilot. And we also have got certain kind of the new Microsoft Purview data security posture management experience, the agent which I was talking about. And last but not the least, which is about the integration within M365 Copilot Admin Center. From there, you could directly do it. I know in the last I make a big move. Okay, but anyone who wanted to discuss more about the data security, I am more than happy to discuss over there. So it's everyone's responsibility, not only one person responsibility. With that, thank you, everyone.
Save the best for last.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shoaib Ahmed. I'm also Cloud Solution Architect for cybersecurity. We've gone through a lot more agentics and all that, but the underline again, the foundation is security, which will be based on identity and how all the agents are communicating, how we are putting the guardrails against all this AI and along the other controls as well. So today I'll just emphasize on the 3 major announcements. One is starting from the baseline security mode, which was a very asked feature from a long time based on the tenant level, and then predictive shielding. Anyone aware about, by the way, attack disruption in the MDE, Defender for Endpoints? Anyone familiar with that feature?
Maybe we can define what's Defender for those.
Well, yes. So it looks like, that's why I just asked the question. It looks like mostly it's a development community. Anyone from the security, by the way? At least. Okay. So predictive shielding, that's the advancement in the attack disruption. And then obviously the AI security, because a lot more agents, so many controls, policy, and we need to have different views. So we will go through all together from each persona perspective, how we are segregating each. So I'll start with the Microsoft security baseline, where we are talking about that we need to have some default policies at the tenant level. So every time we are a bit lost based on the different frameworks, which policy apply, sometimes we get from the audit reports, and we apply in bits and pieces. So there is no baseline policy at the tenant level, which is first time this introduced. So now we have, we can take action. It will be a tailored based recommendations. Once it is there on the tenant level, you will know that, yes, it is a compliance policy. You already have controls in place, or this policy is missing. And based on that we can apply the policy. It's adaptive with the environment, because it is assessing that it is having also telemetry. It takes the consent that we will see in the later slides, that how do we evaluate the data? Can we safely apply the policy or no? Because that's the biggest showstopper in the security and between the infrastructure team, that how we can apply the security controls without interrupting the business. And then obviously taking the benefit of the built-in protections, where we have all these given pre-built templates. We just need to evaluate and need to apply. So there are basically 8 configuration settings based on 3 major areas. The first is authentication, very critical, most important, and that's the very neglected area where we have so many gaps, and that's the area where adversaries are getting in and by exploiting the all the shortcomings that you have in the environment. And then on the files and on the room devices, these are the 3 major pillars against which we have all 18 configurations. And currently, this first announced set of policies are based on Office, Exchange, Teams, SharePoint, and Entra, the most important one, which is your central identity. So the moment you will access your admin portal, admin.microsoft.com, so from there you can just go to your organization settings, and then you will start seeing the baseline security mode. So these are the ones, that's the new feature that is just announced here, the baseline security mode. After that, you will see the set of policies. It will be showing you the number of policies which you can automatically apply, but never ever apply anything by default. You just have to evaluate all the security policies first, and you can drill down. We will see that how you evaluate the policies, and at the same time, then after looking into the telemetry and the data, what will be the impact in the environment? Then you first of all the mimic all the policies, and then you apply. So based on that, this is the first pillar in the authentication. We have all the settings. For example, the phishing resisting authentication and the block legacy authentication. So these, and even it will tell you that what is the service based on this policy is getting applied and what is the status of this policy. So in review, it means it is under under the review that you are just looking into the telemetry. It's not still an enforcement mode. It's in the learning mode. So the first you need to go through that setting. For example, this legacy authentication. So if you are not using in the environment, the POP, IMAP, these protocols, so those should be straightway blocked. But the biggest question comes, how do we know that we have these protocols in the environment or no? So that's why we have that consent mechanism, and then you, based on the telemetry that you learn. So this is one of the example, but along this, we have this connected bit. For example, based on the learned this telemetry, that how many active apps that you have and how many daily requests that you have. So based on that learned data and collective telemetry, you learn that what will be the impact. So you can download this data in the CSV file. Based on that, after evaluating, then you enforce. So, and this is one of the example of one of the policy, and we have a lot more policy. So we can go through, let's say, if you start looking, the moment it start appearing in your tenant, then you can start looking into the policy. And obviously, whenever you have questions or any nitty-gritty into the policies, anytime we can help on that. Because there are a lot more, and if we try to explain each and every one, it will be very time-taking. Then the next pillar is on the files, where it is looking for example, if you want to block the old files, doc versus the docx. This is just one of the example. So docx is the secure one as compared to the doc, and obviously there are different mechanisms are applied. Based on that, you also need to limit your files on the tenant level. So this capability was not there before. Again, while looking into that, let's say if you are looking and you need to eradicate these doc files from the environment, because ActiveX controls and the embedded controls in the old Office files, where you embed the macros, and there you have the implants, the malwares, and this is where it starts on the endpoints. So we are looking at these controls at the different levels. At the tenant level, at the Office, though we have stack of defenders. If you're not familiar, I'll just give you a quick go through on the E5. So you have Defender family. Under that, you have protection, because we are the one who have end-to-end security controls along the different solution areas under the zero trust. So we have identity for identity. We have Defender for endpoint. Where it comes under the line two pillars, Entra and the domain controllers, which is your Active Directory, on-prem Active Directory. And then it comes to the Office, where we have Defender for Office. And then we have Defender for Cloud Apps to have your session controls, or you have Shadow IT concept. So to cover that part, we have the Defender. And obviously Defender for Endpoint, which is the kingpin in the system, and the Defender for Identity. Those both solutions work together. So Defender for Endpoint is having another two feature set, Defender for antivirus and EDR. So that is sitting on your servers, on your endpoint. So that's the most important solution because it is sharing all the telemetry across the different solution areas. And based on that, we have a more strict controls when we are talking about all the conditional access policy and how to control the agents that we will see in a while. Once we put that conditional access policies and the other mechanisms, how we operate, then you will see the importance of these two solutions, how this telemetry, it's really making a difference in the environment. So again, this is why we need to enable that straight away, enforce this security by default. That's now we have this this capability in the environment available. And at the same time, built-in value is that looking into the data that we have and across, we have this baseline, which is the default benchmark. At the same time, don't forget that it will give you another benefit from the auditing perspective. So if you are going through the audits, it will help you a lot if you have deployed all these baselines in the environment. So this is very important to just consider these baselines to be enabled. And the phase one, as I told you, that it's based on the on these applications, and then in the phase two, it will be for the Intune preview and the dynamics. Where to apply straight away? This is how you will reach out to these policies in your 365 admin center. So you will start with the pilot. Obviously, in the production, never ever start with the straightway in production. So you need to pilot first, even on few set of machines. First, learn the telemetry and then apply. So that's your methodology to apply the baseline. And even if you have Entra or the other conditional access policies, but at the tenant level, you should have. The biggest difference is that that's not a contextual base. So it will be by default there on the tenant. So you will be having less chances to get breached. Then the other amazing feature is predictive shielding. I'm not sure if anyone is aware about this attack disruption. So that's the next version of this attack disruption, this predictive shielding. So I'll just quickly take a step back and I'll take you through that how these attackers are working. Basically, whenever adversary get into the environment, first they try to learn your all environment, doing the lateral movement, dumping the credentials, looking the connectivity between the systems, how your privileged identities are exposed, which protocols are in the environment, and which one they should target. And obviously the critical environment. So first of all, they look for critical assets which they need to compromise, and most of the time that's your identity, either Active Directory, domain controllers, Entra Connect, which is a very underrated server, but it should be considered as domain controller. And at the same time, either they need to make persistence or then they will launch another attack compromising your environment. So to get to eradicate this persistence, that's the most tedious and costly job, because then you need to do all the technical recoveries. You need to just go through that which systems are impacted, and then you need to control the damage. So before going to that, in the attack disruption capability, what happened? I'll just go, one step back. So in the attack disruption, it will automatically learn. So MDE is based on the machine learning. It learns that what are the possible attack paths if you need to compromise, let's say, of any of the system admins. That's one of the privileged account, maybe part of the local administrator. So if that needs to be compromised, what are the possible attack paths? So whenever it sees the abnormal activity in the environment based on the different traffic patterns and communication between the teams based on the different protocols, and then it try to stop and it need to contain those resources. Either it's a user or it's a machine. So it will contain and it will stop the lateral movement. So that's attack disruption. And this attack disruption, because it is, until unless it is having the 99% confidence based on the different signals, it use threat intelligence, it use MD telemetry, it use MDI learned data as well from the identity part. And then in 3 minutes time, it took it drifts random ransomware attacks. At the same time, after going to this, first of all, adversaries are, it's a very tedious job all the time, because you should be always correct, but the adversary has to be correct one time. So it's really it's a vicious circle. So attackers are leveraging all the gaps they are trying to identify in your environment, and then they will challenge your protection controls. Because now it's not about only the static controls, that if you have the standard AV or any specific policies applied, it should be a dynamic. So based on this learn attack paths, what it does, that it overlays based on the attack techniques, TTP is used in the environment, it looks from the threat intelligence that what has been learned from the signals based on the threat intelligence, what will be the next step that adversary is going to take. So it will overlay that reactive model on the existing attack paths, and it will try to stop the attack, and it will not only contain the threat, but it will also apply the hardening on the machine. So it can disrupt, and it will first contain, and it will also stop that it should not spread the attack further, or also secure the machines automatically on the go. So what it does, Defender overlays the post-breach attack. So it suspect that this is the attack techniques. So this will be the next attacker move. Based on that, it deploys the controls on those machines. It identifies what are the involved assets, identities, and the machines involved in this. It will automatically predict and then stop the attacks on those ones. And obviously, it's a real-time attack analysis. It's not something static. It is learning on the go from the machines. It is unique because it is learning from the graph, and it's a huge data set. Based on that, it's trained. And obviously, the threat intelligence, Microsoft have the biggest, huge threat intelligence learned on the global data set. And now from all the environment, obviously, information is anonymized, but it learns across the globe. And at the same time, our Defender experts are also enhancing the capability by learning the new attack techniques, and it is being embedded into the solution. So that's also one plus point. So what are the key capabilities? The moment you see that this predictive attack shielding taking place, so it will straight away apply the group policy hardening. It means it will harden your machine that none of the new policy can be applied. So if attacker is trying to do some bulk change, so none of the policy or new change cannot be applied. It will block that access. Even if it's from the domain controller, it won't let that happen. And at the same time, next attacker move will be a safe boot hardening. So safe boot reboot is done just to compromise your controls, because that starts with the limited services. So it also stops this capability for the adversary that safe mode, it should not allow the reboot. And then obviously proactive user containment, it contains the user. So it will not kill the existing sessions, but it will not allow to have the next sessions for the users. So it will contain. So this containment is different than the conditional access policies, the way we just straightway block or the just disable the account. So this containment is, it let the user operative, but at the same time stop the sessions. And the best amazing part is that the moment it sees that risk is gone, that situation is no more there, it will straightway bring this environment back to the normal. So all the protections will be back. So it will let you run as expected in the environment. So whatever changes you are doing or you want to do that, it will allow to do that. You don't have to do any manual intervention. So at the same time, once you look at the Defender, that's our overall portal where we look for the incidents, and it will identify and it will tag where it looks like that's a protective shielding is taking place in any of the incident. So if you are proactively looking for such assets, or you are doing post-incident research, and then you can identify that what were the involved assets in the proactive shielding in which the assets were contained and it was secured. So you can also do that hunting as well. That's your attack story. So if you hear, the amazing part is once you identify any of the attack and you go through all the incident, so you can play this attack story. So you can have this all timeline of the events, when what happened. And at the same time, on the other side, so this is one of the brilliant piece that is already there, but it will make your life easy to understand the assets. The amazing bit is here, that what are the activities performed, how many devices are saved, and how many policies are applied. So how many accounts were there, hardening policies were applied. So this all detail you will get it here from the predictive shielding. Here we have the clear view of that how many hardening policies are applied in this attack, how many devices were hardened because those were the suspected devices, how many accounts contained, and how many signs are blocked. So you get all this information with this attack disruption. Along this attack disruption and the predictive shielding, we have three more features. First of all, the coverage is increased on the Defender. I'll just go a little bit fast forward then. quickly, because it was very painful to have coverage of MDE for 2008 servers and for Windows 7. And we have also custom data collection. And that's the only solution which is allowing to have custom data collection on the MDE. So you have broader visibility into the telemetry for advanced hunting. And the Defender deployment tool that is already automatically looking for all the prerequisites required. And it's just a one package. So earlier it was a little bit tricky to understand that what are the missing KBs, patches, and then you deploy, and then you will meet the prerequisites to onboard the machine. Now, the AI security, the third important part, few of the parts might overlap. Again, the Foundry will be discussed. But now, if you have seen we have talked about data security, we have, the other control planes, Foundry and whatnot. So it looks like, a few of the teams might be a bit lost that which control has to be placed where. So I'm just trying to consolidate all together from the security standpoint, that there are three personas divided. So there are development teams, there are IT teams, and there are security teams and the executives who needs to know that overall your organization security posture against your agents, how many attack paths do we have, how many risks that we have. So that's the new primitive that we have. So I will just try to dissect quickly into the IT teams and the DevOps team you talked about a little bit, and the executive dashboard at the end. So that's the Agent 365. It's brilliant that you will be having all full view of the agents, and not only the view of the agents, but because the biggest problem is how to control all these agents. We need to have strong guardrails against these agents. So that's why all these agents will be registered. Now these agents will be having identity in Entra and will be having additional policies with which we can control. It is having policies, conditional access policy, new categories also introduced. So we can control that agents where it will interact, who will interact, contextual based security can be deployed. And obviously first we register the agent, and then security, compliance, monitoring, and these controls are around those agents in the Agent 365. So the core capabilities are a registry. So registry means you need to have identity so you can control, you can manage the access of these agents. And obviously need to put additional controls that requires access control. And then these are just, why you need, because obviously there are so many agents. Even it's not only about the agents, even now the teams will be having fleet of agents. So that's very important that you need to have visibility. How much security drift we have in terms of the configurations, and how much you are having a risk into the agents. So if you see that, that will be the total inventory of how many agents are registered, and that's a catalog. And based on that, so I'll just skip the demo as of now.
Yeah.
Just to quickly go through. Yes. So we
I'm an
talked
IT
about
leader at Zava. I'm an IT leader at Zava. And to say I'm currently
Okay, so that was a plane for the admins. Now it is Foundry control plane, a little bit just of against again after the policies. So these policies and the controls on the agents are coming from Entra. Based on the Entra, it is having integration with Defender for AI. So I'll not make it a little bit more complex. So we're not going to, but this capability is coming for Defender for Cloud, and that's a subscription-based plan that we enabled. And obviously the data security coming from Purview. So I connected all the bits all together, why we have importance of the data security, Entra, identity, and obviously how you're going to put the guardrails around these agents. Okay, now once you come into the Foundry, so here you will see that once you come to the operate this button, and then you will see all the active alerts, what you have against the agents, what are the shortcomings, risk, attack paths that's there, which you need to which you need to just solve the problems based on the recommendations. So once you have it there, any of the recommendations, once you click that, you have all the details what has to be done. Every detail will be given with any of the recommendation. It's not only about that you have just open recommendation, but all the steps as well. The important part is that you have this the integration that you need to enable with Purview and with Defender for Cloud. Based on that, it will have all the telemetry to recommend you the recommendations, why we have these recommendations. And one more important thing that it's other than that, you just have into the security compliance in the compliance, you have additional security controls that you will apply while building your agents, what data set that you need to touch in terms of the grounding and the other control policies that you need to deploy into Foundry. So you will be having that control. And then at the last, it will be just a different AI dashboard for the IT teams at the executive level, or maybe the leads for the SOC teams, where they will be having overall view that what is the overall unified risk associated with all these agents. What is this risk discovered? And obviously, if you're aware with the Defender stack, so it will contribute to your in the coming time for your score as well. So just to cover all this, you will be having all this consolidated view along the risks, how many agents that you have, attack paths again, and what kind of vulnerabilities that you have, which you need to remediate. So that's it. On time, quick fast forward. I hope I did not do it.
Thank you so much. I hope we covered a lot of things, you guys. So I understand you might be a bit overwhelmed, but I want to see who was paying attention. We have some giveaways. We're going to ask 3 questions. Please raise your hand before you answer. And yeah, you'll get this. What do we have this time? Oh, we still have these